Welcome back to Real Phonies, where we take a love for movies and television and combine it with very little knowledge about movies and television. I'm your host, Christian. Join me are my co-hosts, Joseph.
Hello.
And Jehu.
No!
I was hoping for a Godzilla or Kong caw.
That's a good point. I really missed an opportunity this time. I think I was thrown off by the fact that instead of doing your usually radio DJ voice, you did like your radio commercial voice.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize I had multiple voices, but I should put that on a resume.
You should, totally.
I guess based by that little conversation, you all have probably figured we're talking about Godzilla versus Kong this week.
2 weeks after anybody who's interested in seeing it has already seen it.
I'm not entirely sure that's true
because we're so fucking good at this.
It's been done pretty well at the box office, or
really?
COVID wise, it's done well consistently for 2 weeks now.
Oh.
I will say I'm sorry I didn't see it in a theater. The parts of it I liked, I think I would have liked a lot more on a big screen.
Yeah, it's crossed 400 million internationally at the box office.
I can't imagine being in a circumstance where I couldn't be on my phone while I was watching this movie.
But I mean, we'll get into it. But yeah, I think that's the point. I think the reason you're on your phone is because you could be on your phone. And if you could not be on your phone, this movie might not have been as boring anytime a human was talking.
All right. Well, let's get more into it then.
I think it was just a good transition into what we feel about it, because apparently you guys were very bored with this movie.
I mean, I wasn't bored anytime a monster was punching a big monster. In the very first scene, they set up really well while Kong and Godzilla would fight. And then after that, anytime someone was speaking, I was like, what are you fucking doing, man? You're ruining this for me.
I was just because as I like to before we do these things, I was just reading the trivia, on IMDb about this movie, and one of the things was, I guess, a lot of the internet, I guess, was looking for some kind of director's cut of this movie. When they heard it was 2 hours, they wanted it to be like 3 hours long, and the director's like, you got to have a good reason to make a movie over 2 hours. I would argue you have to have a good reason to make a movie over 90 fucking minutes. Right. And I think this one could have done with some trimming.
I mean, it definitely, I don't know why anybody would want this to be 3 hours unless they wanted more of monsters punching each other, which I can get on board with that.
I mean, I guess so, but like even that, there's a limit.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't love this movie. I liked King of Monsters, and I know I'm in the minority on that film. That one to me is a good balance of like what an American Godzilla movie should be. This one's just pretty dumb. I mean, just top to bottom is pretty dumb, but the monster fights are pretty cool. Probably some of the best monster fights we've gotten on screen, but this movie's just thin.
Yeah,
I'll say, Christian, I watched King of Monsters specifically on your recommendation, and I did like it when I watched it, but when I started this movie, I didn't remember one fucking thing about it.
Yeah, that's fair.
We will. I want to get into that later.
Because I mean, I was literally like, "Oh shit, Kyle Chandler's in this," and I was like, "Oh, I've already watched a whole movie where Kyle Chandler was in."
What's interesting is there's almost zero connection to that film in this one. Like, there's nothing important from that movie. I guess we'll get into a spoiler of the surprise villain, I suppose. Right. That's kind of connective, but most of it doesn't even matter. For example, and I don't think this is a spoiler, but the whole bit about the Hollow Earth, didn't we already know there were like tunnels that connected shit? Wasn't that a plot point in the last movie about Godzilla?
I feel like it was.
He had like
I can't prove it wasn't.
He had like an underground home that he could travel across the world in like secret tunnels super fast, and they blew up an atomic bomb there. Like it just felt like that last movie wasn't even a part of the franchise. I don't know.
It's like O'Shea Jackson didn't even matter.
Yeah. Was he in this movie? I can't remember. I feel like he was in the credits, but I don't remember seeing him.
No, he wasn't in this movie.
Okay.
I didn't see him anyway. Though, to be fair, again, I spent about 30% of this movie on my phone. just general plot wise, if it wasn't clear, the general gist is Godzilla and Kong fight, but there is some loose other narrative strings.
Nothing else is important, Joseph.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that matters.
You know, the Kong is being hidden away in a Truman Show-esque dome.
Pretty sure that it's in a Hunger Games-esque dome.
Okay, touche.
Like
Yeah.
I think this was in continuity with Hunger Games.
And Godzilla is just doing his thing. At some point, they have to move Kong for some reason, and that sets off Godzilla's kaiju dar. And you know, that's kind of the I feel like the difference. So wait, hang on a second. Actually, that's a good point.
People are bad. That's the other plot point
Yeah.
of this movie.
Did Godzilla ever have like a straight up confrontation with Mothra at any point?
No.
He
No, no,
didn't.
no.
Okay. So like, why was this necessary? Like, I get it. When
There's
like,
a 10,000-year-old beef. That's all we heard. That was the line.
okay, yeah, but it's like their ancestors.
Yeah.
I said that weird, but yes, you get
It
it.
says stores.
God, yeah, there's so much unnecessary lore in this. Like the whole thing with Godzilla is like, at least at what they established, and I think the first Godzilla movie is just that he has to be the alpha, so he has to like, whenever he senses that there's another one in the world, he's got to go fight it. But usually the other ones are like wreaking havoc and like showing off their dominance. Kong was literally chained to a fucking boat.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, this seems kind of more like a direct sequel to Kong and Godzilla 1, because you're right. That seems to be the motivation they really go with in Godzilla, for Godzilla in this movie, is he, you know, if this was the second or the third part of a trilogy, I think it would make a lot more sense than it does. But I don't know. This franchise is off the rails now that Ken Watanabe's not in it.
Yeah, now they can want it. Oh man, I don't know, but I just like thinking about the plot of that movie feels like that's super insensitive.
We replaced Ken Watanabe with Kyle Chandler, and I just I can't agree with that decision.
Agreed. I feel like there's some other machinations at some point. They go into the Hollow Earth at some point for some reason, and I couldn't fucking tell you why.
I know that part was my favorite part. That part was cool. I would have rather seen a movie taking place in there.
So I think we should just say spoilers from here on out.
Oh no, we've
We're
already
talking about
established
all
spoilers from
sorts
here
of-
on out. I'm so sorry.
I don't like it when we go like chronologically and hit every point of a movie, but I feel like we do have to start about the beginning, because we're the perfect podcast to cover what the fuck is wrong with the beginning of this movie. Where is that Pensacola?
Look, I thought it was going to be worse than it was. So my reference point for this is the end of Contact, which, if you guys don't know the end of Contact, it also takes place in a sort of astral Pensacola, but their Pensacola is also just Hawaii. You know, like fucking palm trees galore and a fucking volcano in the background. It's fucking ridiculous. So when you guys told me about this, I was like, oh, it's going to be another one of those. It's not that bad. It's at night. It's a port town. We're a port town.
I don't think that's the only part of it, though, because Millie Bobby Brown's pretty much able to drive everywhere in the beginning of this movie. So she's like driving what looks to be like some sort of California highway to get to quote unquote Pensacola. I don't know, man. There are mountains in the background at one point. Like it's not Hawaii, I'll give you that, but it's definitely like Encino, California. Like it's not northwestern Florida, southern Alabama.
You think those California softies are going to come down to this swampland to film their dumb movie? No.
My big problem with their take on Pensacola is that we don't have any like big tech firm here. Everybody here is too dumb to work in a big tech firm.
Yeah.
Like,
why would you choose here?
Right. We have, you're either in the military, you work at Navy Federal, or you serve drinks to one of those two people. That is all there is to do in this.
That is the Pensacola economy.
Yeah.
That's kind of covers a lot of basis of this podcast. Like 2/3 of the podcast fit into your description of Pensacola. So it's really, really on the nose, Jehu. Like, it's kind of scary.
I mean, to be fair, we've never actually seen Hurt make a guitar. It's possible he's serving drinks to people that work in Navy Federal and military and just doesn't want to tell us about it.
True. That could very well be true. Yeah. You'll never know.
Well, anyway, Godzilla destroys Pensacola, beats the shit out of this place, and then we have to find a weapon to stop Godzilla. So that's the Hollow Earth and the energy that is found there. And the only person that can lead us there is King Kong, who's apparently never been. And that's the plot of this movie. And I just don't.
Mecha Godzilla, you can't skip Mecha Godzilla.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. And then Mecha Godzilla shows up, and they find out their mom's both name is Martha, and they team up to stop him.
That's true, they do.
A lot of promo for this was there's a clear winner. Who do you think was the winner of this movie, of the fight? I guess.
I mean, I think it's supposed to be implied that Godzilla is. He wins the one-on-one. He wins the best of three. I also like that they're spread into boxing rounds.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like Godzilla won, but I mean, like King Kong brings across the final victory in the end. So I still feel like King Kong's on top. I don't think it's clear at all.
That's what I don't understand. Everyone's like, "There's a clear winner," and I'm like, "Not at all."
Does everyone say that, or does just the fucking press people from this movie say that?
Well, I meant that. That's what I meant. I meant the movie's like, we're not gonna do that Batman versus Superman shit. There's an absolute winner. No, there's not. Godzilla definitely is the stronger of the two of them. But then, like, Pythagorean theorem, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. It just says to me, King Kong is the strongest because he's the one that beats Mecha Godzilla. I don't know. It's confusing.
That's exactly what Pythagoras had in mind when he came up with that theory.
That or the enemy of my enemy is my friend or some bullshit. All of that says to me King Kong is the winner. Your
explanation of it was way more high-minded than mine, which was it's like when Stone Cold would lose a match, but then after the match was over, he would still get up and stun the guy again and have a beer.
I prefer
Kong
your version.
Stone Cold in this.
Yeah. He's got an axe in this, so that's
right.
An axe made of Godzilla.
Oh, is that what that's supposed to be?
I think it's a former spike of one of Godzilla's ancestors.
I don't think I was paying enough attention to grasp onto that.
That's why Godzilla can charge it with his atomic breath.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I like that.
I tell you what my main problem with this movie is, and overall I thought this movie was fun. It's fine, but there's like 30 characters in this movie, and there need to be like 3.
Okay, so you and I are on the same page. What's your solution?
My solution, there needs to be scientist guy who's kind of good, but science, bad guy who wants money, and then middle person who has like an emotional connection to the monster and is really the solution to the thing, because that's how you do a monster movie.
I mean, I think the original Godzilla movies pioneered that formula.
Yep.
And to be fair, they do only have those 3 character types in this, but they just have them over and over. And it's just like, again, it's like I don't need this many humans talking in this when they're all saying the same shit.
So here's my solution to that problem. I think every one of these should be a Rogue One situation. None of the characters introduced at the beginning of the movie survive at the end of the movie.
I think
so every single Godzilla movie, we get a fresh set, and we don't even have to trouble our brains with even the notion that there might be some sense of continuity, that we have to remember any of these motherfuckers or anything they've ever done.
Right.
I like that. I was going to say, to Jehu's point, I totally agree. And my answer would have been to bring back either A, Ken Watanabe and say he actually hadn't died, or B, Bryan Cranston.
He's Atomic Ken Watanabe now. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds so much better. He also has atomic breath.
Oh no, that's One Punch Man. I was like, isn't Atomic Samurai something? But it should be in these movies. It seems like it would work.
He's Ultraman now, and that would have been the.
Fuck! I would be so down with that. I mean, look, there's after watching the Space Jam trailer, I was like, maybe we shouldn't be mashing all these intellectual properties together. Maybe it's time to make some separate stuff. But if you threw an Ultraman in here, I enjoyed that quite a bit.
I think Ultraman deserves a crossover. Personally, that may offend Japanese people. I don't know if Ultraman and Godzilla have never fought. I don't.
They have definitely fought before. I am positive.
But it should happen in this movie.
I agree. Yeah, no, that would have been. I wouldn't have cared if there was no explanation. Just if at the end Ultraman showed up, I'd be okay. This is the best movie I've ever seen.
And it was Ken Watanabe.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I don't have much else to say. This movie is dumb. It's entertaining. It's worse than Transformers for me, but it's it's fine. I don't know, Joseph. You may feel this way. I kind of had a bias going in to dislike this movie because I hate Adam Wingard, who made the live-action Death Note film.
I've never seen the live-action Death Note film, so that didn't hurt my feelings. I think if you just cut it down, actually, how long is original Transformers?
Oh, it's longer than this.
Okay, so I'm giving this one shorter than Transformers. I could have this one on in the background, and it wouldn't offend me. I can just pay attention to the monster fights. Again, honestly, I think the most compelling human story was like Rebecca Ferguson. Is that right?
I think it's Rebecca Hall.
What is it? I think it's Rebecca Hall.
It's one of the Rebeccas. I knew it was a Rebecca.
Yeah.
And
Rebecca Ferguson's the muscular one.
You're right.
She's in Mission Impossible.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. And the little deaf girl. And you know what? Even though I don't really like him, I like that Alexander Skarsgård was just the butt of every joke in this one.
He's freaking terrible in this movie. He's so bad.
But like, we're supposed to be laughing at him, and his bad acting is it works fine. So I think they were the most interesting bit. So if we just cut down to their storyline and fuck everybody else, I think it'd be better than Transformers.
I pretty much agree. I think you could cut out. I mean, it definitely just needed to be one group, and I think that was the best group. The main thing I got from this is up till now, I wasn't really sure whether or not I liked the Warner Brothers releasing on digital and at the cinemas at the same time. But after this, I'm opposed to it, because if I didn't have the option to watch this at home and would have watched it in the theater, I would have enjoyed it more than I did. Yeah. Whereas at home, it was kind of boring.
It's 40 minutes shorter than Transformers, Joseph.
There you go. That's my valid rating. I'm not saying better than Transformers. I'm just going to say shorter than Transformers.
I'm also going with shorter than Transformers.
I have been debating, Hurt, to your point, giving it a second shot at the theater, going to see it. And it's kind of hard to pay money for a movie I've already seen that I didn't love.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I do think, to your point, I would enjoy it more. It does seem like a movie that would do better on the big screen.
When is the next big Warner Brothers release? I know it's Mortal Kombat, but I'm not even counting that. Other people are, but I'm not.
Yeah, that's in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's something in May, but I don't know what it is.
I can't remember.
Space Jam, maybe? July?
Oh, maybe, yeah. I'm getting close. I'm getting close. I know that Kong vs. Godzilla has, done pretty well by COVID standards in the box office. And I suspect that trend will continue to rise as, the vaccine becomes more readily available and people are feeling more like going out and doing shit. So I suspect that by the next big one, and I'm not sure I'm giving Mortal Kombat, but maybe Mortal Kombat will surprise me. But I think we're getting pretty close to it being more of a balance than just everybody watches it at home.
Right. Well, they've already said this is the only year they're doing it. They're going
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Theater releases next year. But I think you're right. I think I would say Space Jam has the possibility.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good chance. Yeah.
But that's it. I have nothing else to say.
Cool.
I don't really have much to say about this either.
I can't believe we made it as long as we did. I was expecting it to be 10 minutes tops. Well, cool. That's Godzilla versus Kong. Maybe they'll make another one. Maybe they won't. I won't remember it either way.
I mean, if they make it with Ultraman, I'm on board.
100%. Okay, I'll come back for Ultraman.
I did rewatch the 3 prior films to this one.
Yeah,
before watching this, and God, Godzilla 2014 is so drastically different than
it's
totally
completely different from the other 3.
It's Batman Begins to Dark Knight different. Like it's just not even the same.
Well, I mean, it's still very embarrassed by what it's doing. Whereas by the time we get to this one, everybody just talks about Godzilla all the time casually, which I actually appreciate that.
Yeah. Monarch is not so much of a thing anymore because everyone just is like all up kaiju ass.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, that's it for Godzilla versus Kong. We got 2 weeks of stuff. What have you been watching?
Well, I watched the other Godzilla films, and
Yep.
for the most part, I enjoyed those. I like all three of the ones before this one. This one's my least favorite of the four, I think. The other three I would all put better than Transformers. The only thing I really, I guess, want to talk about is I watched New Mutants. After
it came on HBO Max.
Yeah, after 4 years of waiting.
We talk about the HBO Max a lot on this fucking podcast.
Yeah, God, they should pay us. That movie is fine. You know, it's not good, but it's definitely better than some of the other shit Fox put in the theater.
Man, knuckle bump, because I actually liked it. I enjoyed watching that movie, but I think it's just one of those things that everyone decided it was going to be the worst thing ever, and then they just parroted that opinion. There are so many worse X-Men movies.
Yeah, it's very... If there's one complaint with it, it should have come out about 18 years ago.
Right.
It has it looks and feels and has the themes of a 2004 film.
Right.
But that's not inherently a bad thing, in my opinion. I don't think that makes it a necessarily good movie, but maybe I'm just kind of nostalgic, and it reminds me of those that, time period. But it's fine. The performances are okay. After watching Queen's Gambit, it's like, how'd they ever get Anya Taylor-Joy in this movie? But yeah, I don't know that I'll ever watch it again, but it's fine. It's Transformer-y.
I'm pretty sure she got cast in that immediately after she was in
The Witch.
The Witch.
Yeah.
Well,
before we knew she could act.
You're right.
Well, and also they had, before it bombed, they had a plan for 3 movies, and she was definitely going to be the center of the thing going forward. So it probably would have been a good payday for her.
Yeah. I think she's pretty good in it. She's fun to watch. But yeah, that's pretty much it. New Mutants on HBO Max. If you're like me and have been following the story of that thing, check it out.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm glad someone finally watched that, because, I really was thinking that maybe me and Sarah are just crazy that we thought this was kind of fun, but I thought it was kind of fun. So speaking of Sarah, she has this strange character trait that she really wants to like artsy horror films. And I'm not saying she's never liked one, because she's watched, ones she likes. She likes the David Lynch movies that lean in that direction and stuff like that. But she always wants to give artsy horror films a try, and it's always miserable. So that is how we ended up watching Mother. That's how we ended up watching Neon Demon. And that's how this weekend we ended up watching a movie called Vivarium.
Oh, yeah, the one with Jesse Eisenberg and Imogen Poots.
Yes, exactly.
How was it?
Oh, man. Okay, so we started watching it, and literally 30 seconds into this movie, I was like, this shit's just Raymond. And Sarah was like, what do you mean? Raymond's a fucking sitcom. This is like a thriller. I was like, this is just a movie about being trapped in the existential nightmare of suburban hell. And that was exactly what that shit was. I called it in 30 seconds. It really wants to be analogs and metaphors and stuff like that, but it can't really be a metaphor if right after doing it, it nudges you in the ribs and goes, get it? Because that's where this movie was. It's not nearly as smart as it thinks it is. The premise is this young couple, they're looking for a house. They go see this, real estate agent guy that immediately they just thought, oh, wow, yeah, this is a creepy horror thing. I should not continue in this. But they do. And they go to this suburb to look at this house. I just said suburb like Jenna from 30 Rock. But but anyways, they go to this suburb and they get trapped in it, and they are delivered a baby in a box, and there's a note that says, "Raise it and be released." Get it? Like it's just so fucking. This movie definitely worse than Transformers. I fucking hated this movie. It was just so fucking obvious, and I just wanted to strangle it as a movie. One thing I really hated about it that had nothing to do with the plot: Jesse Eisenberg had to smoke in it, and he is obviously not someone who smokes, and it's the most awkward looking thing I've ever seen in my life.
Just that makes me kind of interested in watching the movie.
I would have rather seen him shove a dildo in his mouth. Like it probably would have worked out better. But yeah, I don't know. The only really good thing I can say about it is, their kid, once it starts getting older, it starts to speak in either his voice, her voice. Get it? And like whenever it wants their attention, it would just scream at the top of its lungs in her voice. And that shit was hilarious. Anytime that shit happened, it was funny. But other than that, don't watch this movie. Worse than Transformers.
I just want to say, it makes me happy that somebody else has seen the Neon Demon. Because it's one of those things, a lot like Neon Genesis Evangelion, where I watched it and I still to this day am not sure if I liked it or not. But I still think about it, I can't stop thinking about it. So it's impactful, but I'm not sure if it's good.
Well, me and Sarah definitely have different agendas when we're flipping through movies on Amazon or on Netflix, which is I'm flipping through them to not watch them. I want to go through and make sure there's nothing I want to watch and then go back to watching Raymond. Sarah actually wants to find something, and just always, it's specifically on Saturday afternoon, like we're pretending like we're choosing between various things, but it's always going to be some sort of weird horror movie.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I did a couple things this week. Not everything's worth noting. I'm between animes in my personal time, and I'm not even going to bother you with the pilots that are shit. Oh, we haven't mentioned Falcon and the Winter Soldier still going. We're all watching it, but we're going to talk about it later. So hang in there.
There is more to talk about on it now.
There is. Yeah, there's an episode is coming on that. I got I think I told you guys the other week that there was a free promotion for PlayStation where they're giving you free games. And I downloaded the PS4 version of Ratchet and Clank, which I never played on the PS2. It's a lot of fun. It's just a good little platformy third-person shooter kind of thing. But it feels, the mechanics are so much like all those PS2 like that, and like Jak and Daxter and that kind of stuff. And it really made me feel like it gave me that nostalgic feeling of like, oh yeah, these games were actually fun. They probably hold up pretty well.
Right.
Yeah, I like that game.
Yeah, I watched. That's better than Transformers. I don't know if it's still for free. I think for Horizon Zero Dawn's free now. It doesn't matter. I watched on my continuing the trek of the DC animated movies, which I also won't talk about all of them because most of them are worse than Transformers. But I watched Superman: Man of Tomorrow, which I don't know if it's based on a specific comic. I don't know if you know anything about this movie.
Yeah, that's like the new reboot origin, right?
Okay, I don't know. It focuses more on like his time in Metropolis between when he's starts helping people and actually takes up the mantle of Superman.
Right. Now, I think this is an original story, but it might borrow little bits from other versions of this era. But yeah. Go ahead.
It's not bad. A lot of these movies have weird editing where I don't think the dialogue is bad, and I don't feel I don't know. It just they're taking too long between scenes, and so there's just weird space between action and reaction, and one person talking, the other person talking. So that's its own thing. But my biggest issue is this one definitely is trying to capture more of traditional Superman than a lot of these other pretty, I think, cynical approaches to superheroes that a lot of these movies are.
Right.
For some reason, in a fucking universe where, there's alien bounty hunters and Martians and people shoot lasers out of their eyes and stuff, a firm moral compass is like the most unbelievable fucking thing in the world. Even in this movie where they like, I feel like they try a little bit harder. Clark and both Clark and Jonathan and Martha they're all kind of wishy-washy on the whole like help people thing. They're like, it's okay if you don't, but you know, it'd be good if you could. But like, I don't know, like it just rubs me the wrong way that it's like such a hard fucking message to like, we can't really believe that someone would like feel a moral imperative to help people if they can, which I feel like is a really central part of the whole Superman thing. I don't know, it drives me crazy, but otherwise it's okay.
I mean, that was the main thing I didn't like about Man of Steel, and I don't like any time the Kents aren't a central and clear figure of you need to do right.
Yeah, I would say this movie was not as bad as Kevin Costner in BVS or Man of Steel.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know why that's like they've stripped that from the story. Like, this is too far. We need to scale it down some. I don't know. Like, I don't feel like that's the most ridiculous thing in the world. It's literally a central part of the character. I don't know.
Right.
Anyway, the last thing I'm going to talk about is the wife and I started a new romance show. It's an anime, of course it is, called Horimiya. It's just a soft little high school romance thing. It doesn't have that much conflict, just kind of like nice stories of people being nice to each other and falling in love, and it's very necessary. I feel like, I don't know, my sanity and I think general people's sanity to have these kind of shows that are just, it's kind of like the Great British Baking Show. It's just kind of like a warm hug of a show. So I recommend it if that's your thing. But yeah, that's it.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know we've had 2 weeks for this, but do we know what we want to do next week?
We could do news. We haven't done news in a while.
We haven't done news in a while. There has been a fair amount of news.
There's shit we got to talk about.
Yeah. All right. We'll plan for a news episode. If something more exciting comes up, we feel more compelled about, we'll do that. And then the week after that, I think is Falcon.
Should be the end. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Is what?
The end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We could do the.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
So cool. Well, thank you guys for listening. Please rate, subscribe, tell your friends about the podcast. If you want to write in about what you liked about Kong versus Godzilla, who you think won the battle, and whether you want Atomic Ken Watanabe in the next one. You can reach us at realphonies@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter at realphonies, and on Instagram at real_phonies. Thanks to Zach Evans for art and Brian Velasquez for our theme. We'll see you guys next week.
Later. And Jehu.